Hi students, this is a question from organic chemistry regarding the mechanisms of reaction. The question is which statements are incorrect? 1. Wood's reaction involves a carbocation. Hoffman's hypobromate reaction involves isocyanate. In the conversion of bromobenzene to aniline by using ammonia and sodium amide, amino groups replaces bromine on the same carbon atom. See here, I have written on the board the third case first. So first we will go through the third case's verification. Okay. See, if you treat bromobenzene with a mixture of ammonia and sodium amide, the bromine goes out and amino groups come back and you get an aniline. But the doubt is whether this amino group substitute bromine directly on the same carbon or can it be on the adjacent carbon. To answer that, we have to go through its mechanism. This is the mechanism. See, first a bromobenzene is attacked by the highly basic amide ion which takes away the proton ortho position to bromine, and thereby this amide become ammonia. At the same time, this pair of electron become free. It forms an additional bond here, a rare thing to happen. It becomes triple bond like this. And at the same time, to maintain the valency of this carbon to be 4, bromine is eliminated as bromide. Now we have a triple bond and a 2 normal double bond, and that is called benzene, as you know. In the second stage, the other reactant ammonia can attack. See, it is a symmetrical structure. So the ammonia can attack either here or here. See, if it attacks here, it first get attached at NH3 plus, and at the same time this extra pair of electron goes to the other carbon as a minus charge. If on the other hand ammonia attacks over here, NH3 plus get attached on this carbon and the lone pair get reduced as a minus charge over here. Once this is formed, in the next stage a proton transfer take place. Say this NH3 plus leaves a proton and another proton is taken away by this. So, or this leaves a proton and that proton has been taken by this. So that what happened? Both become aniline. They become aniline. Then what is the difference? The point is that the amino group substituted need not be on the same carbon which is carrying the bromine. It can be on the adjacent carbon also. You have to remember. Because the mechanism says so. How we can distinguish this, whether the methyl group attached, whether the amino group is attached on the same carbon or on a different or on an adjacent carbon. The method is that the bromobenzene you take must have a radioactive carbon in the ring. The carbon which is acting as the locant carbon must be labeled. That is, it must be radioactive, say C14. Okay. C14 has to be this carbon, radioactive carbon. Its chemical property is exactly same as the normal carbon. So no other change will happen. But if you go through the mechanism, you will understand that due to this special type of mechanism, in the final product, amino group can be on the labeled carbon or on the adjacent carbon, justifying this mechanism. As per mechanism, either on the same carbon or on the adjacent carbon. So we get the conclusion that this statement is wrong because it is specifically saying on the same carbon. So wrong statement. Third statement is wrong. You may also please remember, if you are making this to react, toluidine, orthotoluidine NH2. Orthobromotoluene, then this is replaced and the amino group can come over here or here since this position is occupied. You got that? What I mean, here the benzene formed will be like this. Okay, remember that. Again, if the bromine is here, then the proton can be abstracted from here or here. If it abstracts from here, triple bond comes like this. So, in the final reaction, you will get the amino group substituted over here or over here. Agreed. On the other hand, it may even form like this because both the adjacent positions are vacant. If amino group get attached over here, you get para variety. If it attached over here, you again get meta variety. So what I mean to say, if you are taking this compound, you may get a ortho, meta and a para toluidine as the products. There may be difference which is major, which is minor, but all the three can be formed if you are starting with a metabromotoluidine. Okay? Right. Now we are verifying Hofmann's degradation reaction. Remember Hofmann's carbylamine reaction, Hofmann's hypobromate reaction, and Hofmann's hypobromate reaction or bromamide reaction or degradation reaction. All these three are same. Bromamide, hypobromite or degradation reaction. All these are the same. Carbylamine reaction is different. We have already studied that. So, what is Hofmann's degradation reaction? Here, an alkanamide, an amide, aromatic or non-aromatic, react with the bromine and alkali, a mixture of bromine and alkali, or you can take hypobromite. Either you take halogen and alkali, or you take hypohalite. They react to form a amine by as if eliminating this carbon monoxide group in between. So it becomes CS3NH2, the side products are Na2CO3, 2NABr, 2H2O. Here the daughter product molecule has one carbon less than the parent amide. That's why it is called a degradation reaction, stepping down type reaction. Okay, now we will see the mechanism. See, the first thing to happen is hydroxide ion attacking the amide and taking away this one NH bond as H plus. This bond is left behind. This bonded electron is given back to nitrogen and this H has been taken away by OH minus as H2O. So you have CS3CO NH minus, an unstable ion is formed at the first stage. We know nitrogen is already having its own lone pair. When this bonded pair of electron is left behind, there will be two pairs of electron and only one additional charge will be there, only one, because only one extra electron is present with it. We know nitrogen has 5 electrons in the valence shell. Even now, see, one electron of this bond, one electron of this bond, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are altogether 6 electrons around nitrogen, but 5 are its own. So only one extra electron. That's why even while we show 2 pairs of electron, negative charge is only 1. Okay. That anion, unstable species, in the second stage attacks bromine molecule. This is said to attack this because electron pair is the attacking species. So its electron pair is attacking bromine. That's why we say this attacks this. Thereby eliminating one bromide, we have NHBr. See, if you consider these two steps together, you can say that in these two steps together, one hydrogen of NH2 has been replaced by bromine atom, but it happens not in a single step, in 2 steps. NH2 become NHBr means one H has been replaced by one Br. So that is the second step of reaction. In the third step, there is one more hydrogen on the nitrogen. That also taken away by second hydroxyl. These two reactions are identical. So it become NBr, again negative charge comes back on nitrogen because there are two lone pairs of one extra electron. See, you can remember these three together in this way. H goes, Br comes, H goes. It's one of hydrogen goes, then Br comes, then additional second H goes. 2H goes, 1 Br comes. So the species become NBr. Now there is a conjugated electron rearrangement in this species. Look here, simultaneous electron rearrangement. What all happens? This species are the same. Here the methyl carbanion with the bonding pair of electron. What is the cause of this reaction? We can say only this much: stability of the product. That can be the reason why such things happen. This carbanion migrates from here to nitrogen. From carbon to adjacent nitrogen, the alkyl group shifts as not as carbocation but as carbanion. So, and what happens with this lone pair of electron? It forms a bond over here, N double bond C. Since it has lost one bond on one side, it gains another bond on the another side. So at the same time, bromine is eliminated to outside also. Bromine goes out as Br minus. So we have this product, CS3 single bond and double bond C double bond O. That is called isocyanate. That is called isocyanate. So there is an isocyanate. Our answer is with us. That statement is correct, but we will continue. This isocyanate undergo hydrolysis in two stages. In the first stage, one water molecule gets added across N double bond C. It becomes NHCOOH. NHCOOH it becomes. It is called one of the carbamic acid. Carbamic acid. In the second stage, the water molecule again react, breaking it down to primary amine and H2CO3. Primary amine and H2CO3. That is the way in which we get amide converted to amine. You may wonder, here the final products are said to be Na2CO3 and NaBr. But in our reaction, we haven't mentioned their formation. Remember, when H2CO3 is formed in the medium, it is a very weak acid. It reacts with the excess alkali in the medium, whereby getting converted to Na2CO3. We have also seen bromine being eliminated. In the basic medium, it will remain as NaBr. So all the products are in a way justified. So study this very well. So the second, this third statement is wrong. Second statement is wrong. I'm sorry, it is not an answer because it is a correct statement. Hoffman's hypobromite reaction involved isocyanate intermediate. That is a correct statement. Okay, now we see the last, here the first statement, whether that to be correct or not. Look at the mechanism for Wurtz reaction. An alkyl halide is converted to a higher alkane in the presence of sodium in dry ether medium. What really happened here? See, the sodium metal first react with the alkyl halide. Okay, actually all metals, so alkali metals are like a free radical. They have one unpaired electron in their valence shell. So we may say it is a free radical reaction. Na substitutes chlorine, whereby this becomes CS3 free radical and NaCl molecule. So in the first step, you have a free radical generation, an alkyl free radical generation. In the second stage, it again reacts with a new Na. That's why in the Netter mechanism, we use 2 Na. 2 CS3Cl plus 2 Na giving CS3 plus 2 NaCl. So the second sodium, it forms an organometallic intermediate sodium methanide, CS3 minus Na plus. Okay, CS3 minus Na plus is formed, and in the final stage, this CS3 minus attacks a new CS3Cl molecule, thereby eliminating chloride, forming CS3 and Cl minus. These are the three steps involved in this reaction. And see, here free radical involvement is there, alkyl free radical involvement is there, alkyl carbanion involvement is there, but there is no alkyl carbocation involvement. So the first statement is wrong. Woods reaction involves a carbocation is wrong. It involves carbanion and carbon free radical only. In this regard, we may also remember one more thing. In our books, we hear that tertiary butyl chlorides, tertiary halides do not undergo Woods reaction or gives only very poor yield. The reason is very apparent. Why? See, if it react like this, we will have CS3, this tertiary butyl carbanion there. The intermediate formed will be tertiary butyl carbanion. And we know tertiary butyl carbanions are highly unstable. Why? There is already a negative charge. That negative charge is intensified by the plus psi effect of the three methyl groups. So, the charge intensification will always destabilize a species, whereas charge spreading or charge delocalization always stabilizes the species. Here it is charge intensification because to a carbon which is already electron rich, electrons are pushed by the 3-methyl group. This makes this intermediate unstable, and so such a reaction involving this as intermediate will not favored. And so tertiary alkyl halide give only very poor yield. Okay, coming back to our conclusion for the answer to this question. See, this is a wrong statement. This is a correct statement. Isocyanate is involved. This is again a wrong statement because it is not always on the same carbon. It can be on the adjacent carbon. So that combination which gives you 1 and 3 as wrong statements will be your answer. That combinations of answers in which 1 and 3 are suggested to be incorrect will be your answer. Hope you follow that. Okay.